Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Ancient Legends Challenge. In the last episode, Tusk was betrayed by his own brother when Avo left him to freeze out in the snow. Their competition took a very dark turn. Avo knew that there was no other way that he would be able to gain the crown, so when Tusk started to freeze out here, all by himself with his lack of cold resistance, he took that as his chance to shine. He jumped ahead and claimed that he had won the bunny hunting competition, and now technically he is the rightful leader of this tribe. Though not everybody is so convinced. I think Jester in particular is rather concerned about poor Tusk, and I'm sure that his full sister Belle will be just as worried too. If she's not too distracted by this walrus deer anyways. I know she's going to want to try to hunt that guy down for lunch. But let's have Avo start making his way toward the rest of his family. He can clear out some pathways. I'm sure he would want to head this adventure anyways. He might try to take it down before Belle, since I'm sure he considers this to be his destiny. But with Avo distracted, at least that gives Jester the chance to come on down here and hopefully warm up poor Tusk. There we go. Now he's feeling much better. We could even dig up some roots for him to eat, because I'm sure he's super hungry. In fact, did we pick up all of the bunny meat? Yeah, and it looks like most of the bunnies have hopped away. They've gotten tired of all of your games, Tusk. So it looks like you won't be scooping up any more bunny meat for quite some time. But at least you can clear out the pathways over here and hopefully let your tribe know what's going on. At least Jester would be willing to listen. He knows that technically he's supposed to start his family now. That was part of the alliance after all. Belle is fully grown, so they can try to have children with a heat body. And in fact, now that the mountain is warming up again, do you think maybe it's Melody's wrath that is causing the snow to melt? She knows that there was a little bit of a betrayal in her flames, and she wants to show these creatures who's boss. I wonder if that influence is truly going to shine in their children. So maybe Belle, also realizing that her family is supposed to begin as well, she would dig out Avo, even though she's not very impressed with his brash nature, and come on down here to find Jester. We should be able to settle her down right next to him, but she'll be surprised to find that he's sitting with Tusk instead. I feel like she would be more inclined to believe him just because of that blood relation, and the fact that she knows he wouldn't have given up so easily. He might be a little bit less resistant to the colds, but that doesn't make him weak. So she was really surprised to hear that he lost. Now Fern, I'm sure that you would love to get in on the action too. Even though the walrus deer seems to have skittered away in the meantime. See, he's just too brash. He ends up scaring away the walrus deer before he can land a swipe. But why don't we see if you could dig out Pineapple? Because I am getting a little bit concerned about him, and I'm sure that he would love to join in on the fun too. We'll have him scoop up some more of those little twigs, something to remember his friend by. But now that it's warming up, we shouldn't have to worry so much about the hot spring situation. We'll bring you up here so you can do some hunting again. You know, that was actually how all of these creatures met, when they were following the same walrus deer straight into Anarim's territory. So that has to be quite nostalgic for him. And as for you, June, I know that he knows the walrus deer is around too, but he's actually following those bunny guides. They were leading him toward the other hot springs as if to guide him toward the other family. Unfortunately, he had a little bit of bad blood with Anarim because he did steal all of her food. So I don't think he's going to want to stick around here for much longer. He should probably try to follow in the shadow of the walrus deer, in fact, because at least it might help clear out a safe pathway for him. That's kind of the same boat that our other family is in right now. They're a bit snowed in at the moment, and Kunukir has realized that they need a little bit more structure if they're going to go up against Anarim's guard. So we're going to see if we can guide them in the direction of these hot springs. That way we won't be caught off guard, just in case it does start to get a bit colder again. We should probably have our creatures with the Megaloceros horns lead the charge. That way, if they do find any danger, they should be able to protect the little ones. So let's have Fim scoot his way up here. Oh, the bunny guides are, as ever, pushing us along. So go ahead, Stone. You can grab that bunny for us. And then maybe little Clover could scoot back here to pick it up. I feel like he's probably always left out. Since he doesn't have the horns himself, most of these creatures don't really think of him as a warrior. But honestly, Clover would love nothing more than to go on these adventures with all of the other creatures. I mean, he does have that big claw, and I'm pretty sure that nobody else on this side of the mountain does. Oh, and another little bunny? You know, I wonder if somebody else could go after it. I suppose we could have Triss at least swipe this one, and then maybe Hydra could dip back here to pick up the meat for us this time. The little babies can help out too. They'll be following Skitty, I think. She would probably be a little bit more likely to stay behind with them. For now, we'll have her gather up the nest. She can go ahead and pick up some of the snow here too. So the baby should be able to get around much more easily. Let's bring her back here. That way I think Amanda should be able to catch up. But I'm a little bit afraid that she's going to get lost in that snowdrift. Go ahead and shovel that out for us, Triss. That way there won't be any surprises. And we'll keep all these babies nice and toasty warm. I'm pretty sure I saw something flattening down the snow over here again. So let's just see. Alright, it appears to be those pesky bunnies once more. Yeah, they must just be maintaining these paths. I guess if it gets super tall, like these biggest snowdrifts, that's when they can only burrow. But if they've already been flattened a little bit, it's easier for them to trample on it with their big bunny feet. We should probably have Tota stay back here with Skitty too. In fact, if we scoot her on over here, she should be able to pick up some of the snow for us too. And then let's have Ramir and Kunuk here start the charge deep into the mountain snows. And we'll see if they can open a gate together to the new clearing. It'll be interesting to see if it's still cold enough to cause concern for some of our less resistant creatures. Like Clover, for instance, who has unfortunately been left behind. I think we're out of turns too. So let's go ahead and skip the day. I'll stay back here just to make sure that nobody's going to freeze overnight. Are you still missing energy? Nope, it looks like he's okay. Oh, thank goodness, so Melody is pulling through for us after all. Well, let's go ahead and sniff around just in case. Just make sure that there are no balance bears lurking around the mountains too. Oddly enough, we have not seen a single predator on this mountain, and that has me a little bit concerned. You would think that the balance bears would have spawned somewhere here, but I wonder if they just don't have enough to eat. If I remember correctly, the balance bears actually prefer the fish in the streams, so I guess they would only be able to hunt by the ocean. They also seem to like the berries. They do like meat as well, but with the bunnies being so wiry, it would probably be pretty hard for them to catch a meal. The balance bears were always pretty easy for us to take down just because they were so slow. But it looks like Fern has also grown up now. So that gives her a little bit more energy to go searching for that walrus deer. Unfortunately, Avo, I think you might have lost it. There are quite a few pathways being dug out over here, right by the ports in fact. So the walrus deer could be along literally any of these paths. Which one are you going to choose? Maybe we'll have him sit on top of the stump for now, just to get a better grasp on the situation. It does look like we have plenty of bunnies running around, so maybe you could instruct Pineapple to go after them. He can jump into the hot springs and grab that one. I guess we'll have Fern go after them for now too. I mean, I feel like she would be pretty smitten, especially with Pineapple. She knows that she's meant for Jester, but she can't help but appreciate Pineapple's laid-back ways. He's wonderful at crafting too, so maybe he could even impress her with one of his little branch gifts. But he will have to find some more to pick up before he can do so. Oh my gosh, and they're literally right next to this hot spring? They seem to prefer the warmer areas actually, that's quite interesting. Alright, so I guess you have an extra little pile of branches to pick up for the next turn. And I think I saw another root back here. Yeah, right over here. Oh, June, I don't think you can resist. Go ahead and claw out all of the snow and grab this one. It must have been like the very last root that Anarim had stored away. I think I did see some of the snow being flattened down over here though. So maybe Ava would notice that too. We'll bring him around this way and see if we can find anything. If he sniffs around with that big digging trunk of his. Nope, it looks like it's only the bunnies. Oh, Ava, you may have picked the wrong pathway. That walrus deer may have actually escaped out to sea again. We have certainly seen that happen before, so I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I guess that gives you guys a pretty good opportunity to slink away. I'm sure overnight Tusk shared his concerns about his brother. He has seen a darkness in Avo, something power-hungry and insatiable, and he doesn't want to stick around to see how this story is going to end. So I think this trio is going to make a pact to flee away into the mountains together, off into the darkness. And who knows, maybe they'll even run into the resistance as well. It seems like they're all going to come together right in the middle here, over by the ports to the next island that we're heading to. Let's have Belle scoot ahead. She's probably a little bit more concerned about her brother anyways. She would want to do most of the shoveling. Oh, and the bunnies are back! Right next to the roots as well. Why don't you scoot on over here too and grab this root for us? And maybe we should set up a baby between Belle and Jester too. I'm really curious to see if Melody's influence is truly going to shine through. She seems to be alive and well on the mountain right now at least. So how should we set up their mutation menus for the healthiest of babies? We already have the unfortunate concern of sickness in them, so I guess we would want them to be as strong as possible. There is a pretty good likelihood that we'll see the Megaloceros horns, since they are Jester's inactive traits. So we'll go ahead and plop these saber fangs into his first slot, because that should help with the strength too. Then why don't we go ahead and place the mask in here? I would like to keep that on their babies if possible. And since he wasn't blessed by the pattern painter, he only has the stripes in his inactive traits, it would probably help if we gave him a little boost. Now as for you, Belle, she is literally the strongest creature in the tribe right now, so I hope that means that all of her babies will be super strong too. In fact, I can't really see too much that we should concern ourselves with. We have both of those special snouts in her traits, and of course she has the horns already too. I guess this is one of those situations where we could actually play around with the coloring of our creatures. Maybe the pattern colors or the fur color. So if you guys want to see something special on their babies, then I guess let me know. And for now, we'll just see what happens without touching her mutation menu at all. So go ahead and breed with Belle for us. And then I guess she could place down her nest right here. We're far enough away from Avo and his family that I don't think he would notice. Belle can go ahead and clear out some more of the grass. Or the snow, rather. No grass here, unfortunately. And then Tusk can get back to work, picking up all of those fresh bunnies, just like he was always meant to. Yeah, he's a pretty darn good hunter. Despite his lack of cold resistance, the mountains have nothing on him. Oh my gosh, and Fem, have you called all of the bunny guides to your side? Well, he has to scoop those up, and then hopefully we can have little snowshoes scoot off of the stump, so Skitty can come on over here to pick up all of that delicious meat. And I see those bunnies scooting around you again too, Tota. Oh my goodness, they really seem to have taken a liking to you. I feel like they're almost trying to guide her away from her family. If you guys remember back when she was initially born, she had that bunny hopping in and out of her nest, almost like it was trying to lure her towards something different. So I think the bunnies are something that Tota is going to be particularly perceptive to. But for now, Kunukir is more concerned with making sure that his children are actually following, so he would probably just pull her along. Oh my gosh, really? The bunny is following her too? That is absolutely adorable. Well, let's have you guys start widening the pathway then, so more of our creatures can get through. We'll have Ramir do the same. Oh, on her very last day? Should we try to have one more baby with them? I know they have so many creatures over here, and I know there is a pretty good possibility that we'll have another baby with the derp snout. but I feel like since it is her final day, we might as well at least try. Oh, it's not going to work. She only has 1 turn left, so she might as well just use it on the snow. She wouldn't be able to build a nest anyways. Well, we tried, little Tota. We tried to give you another sibling, but it looks like you're going to have to just stick with the bunnies. Go ahead and clear out the snow so your bunnies... Oh my gosh. So your bunnies can follow you better, and so they can settle down right next to their burrows. No wonder this bunny was staying so close. His home is literally right there, right underneath your nose. Stone should be able to jump ahead of Ramir and clear out the final path. There we go, so now we've made it over to this clearing, which is absolutely full of clovers. Yeah, something tells me it's probably the bunnies flattening this down then, because where are there clovers, we know there are always plenty of bunnies. Now let's have all the babies gather around Skitty again so they can stay toasty warm too. And Triss, it seems, is the only one who is actually waiting for poor Clover. Oh, you poor thing. Why don't you go ahead and grab this bunny for us so you can offer it up to her? Just as a little thank you for actually keeping him in your mind. She still does have a job to do though, and she knows it, so come on up here too. Unfortunately, we're just too short to settle her down on that stump, but at least she can make her way into the clearing. And with that digging snout of hers, she should be able to sniff pretty far. Oh my goodness! Look at all of the roots that we have down here! Oh my gosh, that is literally a feast! We're going to have one of you digging trunked creatures come over here to pick that up, because I will not leave without scooping up every last morsel. But I think we should be out of turns now. So let's go back to this family and see if hopefully Belle is going to be lucky. Now we want to see that heat body, but we don't want to see this baby sneeze. Please tell me you're going to be healthy. It looks like she's okay. And she also has the most beautiful snowy fur. Oh my goodness. Oh, she is gorgeous. Unfortunately, she doesn't quite have the blessing that we were looking for. She's carrying the heat body, but she received the spiky body instead. I mean, we do technically connect the spiky body to Melody too, because it almost looks like it could be a lesser version of the heat body. But I think the biggest success is that their baby is actually healthy, because that was the #1 concern with these babies. So this is a child that even Anarim herself would absolutely adore. And how strong is she too? A 6 in strength is not that bad. She should be able to protect her family quite easily. And for that matter, if it did ever come to a confrontation with Avo, I think she'd be able to beat him single-handedly. Now wait a second, did I just see something up here? Oh my gosh. Oh, Avo, you are under attack now? Oh, it is quite clear that somebody is not at all happy with you. This is not how Melody wanted her gifts to be used. She does not stand for betrayal. We already know that Melody and Animeme are working together anyways. So since these Arctic ram foxes have the ram horns that Animeme is so well known for, this has to be a sign from her too. But I don't think that Avo is going to take it that way. He probably thinks that this is just his time to shine. He can swoop in and save the day. With disregard to... Oh my gosh, with a disregard to everyone else? Look how many Arctic ram foxes there are! It is literally an entire pack! Oh, Avo, you are about to get torn apart! Some of you might think that he's getting what he deserves here. I know he made quite a few of you angry, so we're gonna see how this plays out. The thing is, I don't think that Fern and Pineapple would be able to just stand aside and watch. They're not quite as familiar with his betrayal after all. So for all they know, he's just being attacked by this wild pack of ram foxes. So let's try to scoot them up behind him, so they should be able to provide some sort of backup. Fern won't be able to land any attacks on this turn, but we could at least have Pineapple pick up the meat. That way we don't have to worry about the ram foxes stealing it. Though to be honest, we have enough meat anyways. Maybe we should just use our turns on attacking. Thankfully, the Arctic ramfoxes don't have that much health, but with this many of them attacking at once, that would be hard for even the hardiest of warriors to take on alone. So yeah, we're gonna see how that shakes itself out. But I think we forgot to name this little baby, so let's go back here really quick. Oh my gosh, she is still just so beautiful. I love that mask that she has. Well, the next name on my list is actually Ivory, which is super fitting. So welcome to our tribe, little one. Let's see if we can hopefully set up another baby between them two. If we have Tusk, or maybe Belle? No, it should probably be Tusk. That way we'll have the extra turn to spare just in case this breeding doesn't work. We'll have him scoot on off to the side so we can set up our next baby, and hopefully this one will actually receive Melody's blessing. I guess she was a little bit distracted. Oh, and our walrus deer. Oh, you are still poking around. I think this one might actually be different. He doesn't have that little sliver of damage. Very interesting. I know we have quite a few carving out these pathways, but I wonder where the one that we attacked actually went. Yeah, something tells me he probably did just run off into the sea. It is awfully suspicious that we have one of those pathways leading out into the water. But you guys go ahead and keep shoveling out your snow if possible, because I would like you to make a pathway to the ports. I guess that's probably what Tusk is going to work on next, as the resistance comes up from behind. Is everybody still okay over here? Looks like everybody is still nice and toasty warm, so I guess we could probably move you guys a bit farther away. We'll have Stone jump on top of the stump though, just to light up the area, make sure there's no dangers. Yeah, pretty soon they're going to be coming upon this awful scene, and I'm not sure if they would do anything to stop it. I guess that's one way to stop Anarim's reign of terror, if Evo does actually fall to these Arctic ramfoxes' jaws. But as everybody starts making their way up toward the clearing, saying goodbye to Anarim along the way, I think Triss is going to stay behind to make sure that Clover is catching up. This time we'll have him ignore the bunnies so he can actually make his way toward the front of the pack. It would actually be really nice if they could find some permanent nests too. Just like how we had our royal nests up here somewhere. If we could find some good permanent nests to set up some babies in, then we wouldn't have to worry about our current lack of nesting material. So while Clover searches for the nests, let's bring Triss back here to scoop up all of those roots, just so we don't forget about these. The babies must be growing up pretty soon too. Maybe Skitty could even help out then? Give them some extra food to help them grow? Oh, and little Snowshoe can gather up the roots too. I almost forgot about this. So it's almost like he's copying Skitty in this case. Learning from the best, of course. Amanda could even do the same with her digging paw. So, do we have any extras? We just have that one more root kind of buried out in the snow. It's almost like Skitty is running a little school here, isn't it? Teaching all of those babies how to track down their delicious roots. I think that's the end of this turn too. Oh, except for June. Oh, poor little June. We forgot all about you up here. Yeah, might be a little bit more difficult for him to make his way through all of the snow than I anticipated. It looks like it's still pretty deep up here, and we don't really have those walrus steers helping him out anymore. I don't know, should we have him keep going this way? I'm a little bit concerned. Oh my gosh. I'm a little bit concerned that it's going to start getting cold again, and then you are going to be in some real trouble. But if all we can find are stones anyway, then we might not have much of a choice. So why don't we go back here and see what's going to happen to Avo. Very curious to see if all of these Arctic ramfoxes are going to turn on him. Oh, it definitely looks like they are. Oh, this is a sign for sure. Avo is getting a little taste of his own medicine. He is so lucky that Fern and Pineapple refused to leave his side. You know, Fern is actually his full sister too, just like Belle and Tusk. So maybe that's why she feels a bit of a stronger connection. I mean, she might not always agree with his ways, but she wouldn't leave him to get eaten alive by these Arctic ramfoxes. So go ahead and take out one at least, and then I believe Pineapple was working on this one. Thankfully, he wasn't attacked, but I'm not sure if that's going to last. In fact, this Arctic ramfox right here might have stolen the meat from right underneath Avo's toes, and that might be the only thing that actually saved him. Fern can go ahead and at least lick Avo's wounds. That way he won't be taking any extra damage. But honestly, with the way his lifespan is right now, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to survive this attack. Pineapple too would have a really hard time coping if they did turn around and swipe at him. Fern might be the only one who makes it out of this alive, and I'm sure that's going to be a very difficult thing for her to remember. But I do see that we have a little sick icon on the side of the screen, so unfortunately it looks like this baby wasn't quite so lucky. She also just has the spiky body, no heat body I'm afraid. But I love how similar she looks to her sister. It's like the same mask and everything, but with a slightly different base color. And those ram horns too. You figure that has to be a pretty good sign as well that Anarim is on their side now. She's sending the ramfoxes out to destroy Avo and giving their children the war goddess's gift. Now as for this baby, the next name on my list is Sylvia, so welcome to our tribe too. And I think in the next episode, it is very, very likely that we might just see the destruction of Anarim's guard. It's kind of hilarious that the game decided to throw this in our direction. I expected that there would be some big confrontation and maybe we'd have to banish a few creatures. But it almost seems like Anarim and Melody are trying to get rid of him themselves. I just can't imagine that he's going to be able to survive this unless he's really, really lucky. Unless these Arctic ramfoxes are far more concerned with the food, his ambition might finally be what takes him out. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!